Welcome to the Body Beat. I'm your host, Biff Biffle. In today's Auto Body news, Mako Auto Body of Fremont, California is named a community hero by PG&E for its participation in a groundbreaking energy conservation program. As a way to conserve energy, Mako Fremont voluntarily allows PG&E to remotely turn off its air conditioning when demand spikes. Of course, Mako wouldn't find anything wrong with painting in 105-degree weather. Wow. In a step toward possibly moving Lexus global headquarters out of Japan, the automaker has decided to transfer its global marketing functions from Japan to a new decision-making center in Torrance, California. One executive cited the decision not to serve sushi or other chopsticks at a Lexus dinner reception held in advance of the Tokyo Motor Show. He said, "We don't blatantly want to be Japanese." Meanwhile, U.S. car makers are considering serving burritos at their receptions. White pearl has emerged as the fastest growing color to tie with silver as the world's leading automotive color choices. The top global vehicle colors in DuPont's report are as follows. Number 1, white, pearl, and silver tied with 22%. Number 3, black with 20%. Number 4, gray with 13%. Number 5, red with 7%. Number 6, blue with 6%. Number 7, brown, beige with 5%. Number 8, green with 2%. Number 9, yellow, gold with 1%. Number 10, combined others with 2%. Wonder if combined others includes all the spray painted cars at the Occupy rallies. Gotta wonder. In other news, the Chevy Volt, our supposed flagship of alternative energy powered cars, has failed 2 out of 3 crash tests, in which 2 cars caught fire weeks after the crash. Man, why are you going to try to bring up the past like that? And that's your Auto Body news for the day. I'm your host, Biff Biffle. Here's a nice out-of-the-ordinary tip for you. You see these planks of wood right here? These are here for a good reason. You see, if I didn't have those pieces of wood there, the stand would be pushing up right on the center supports, and that would push up on the outer skin, or not push up, the weight of the hood would cause the outer skin to rise up. So, if you look closely, the only thing touching is right there in the front of the hood where it's nice and strong, where you have the metal folding over on the flange, where it's nice and strong and that's not going anywhere. And then in the back, right there, see the very back of the support? Same for the other side. So, there's no stand at all touching the middle of the supports. There's a lot of people out there that think that as long as they got their stand on the supports and not the outer skin, they're fine. But in my opinion, that's not true. I don't know if you could tell, but it's kind of hard to walk past here. This is a very small confined area right here, and this hood has been sitting this way for months. I haven't touched it. And one day I came out here to get something out of there, and so I took out the planks of wood that were just like how they are right now. I took them out and ensured that the stand was sitting right on the supports and not the outer skin, and that was fine. But I came out here again, and I must have moved over the hood or something, and without realizing it, the stand was then sitting right on the outer skin, right here. And now when I rub my hand on it, I could feel it. And it's kind of discouraging because I did a lot of work to this hood, you know? And to sit here and feel this, and to know that this was created by my laziness or lack of attention, kind of pisses me off because I put a lot of work in this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sand this guide coat off, and quite certain that the guide coat's going to sand off really quickly right there. And then I'm going to take a spoon and a hammer and hammer it down lightly, and then continuously hand feel it after a couple of sessions of hammering till it's nice. Then I'll re-guide coat it and block it again and see where I'm at. And that was the part that was sitting on top of the outer skin. On this side, the stand was fully on the supports, but yet, when I rubbed my hand on it, I could feel it, and it's right where the stand would go, right here. I could feel it. This is ever so slight. You have to have a really good hand feel to feel this, but I could feel it, and I know that this is going to block out. But regardless, the point is, I don't want to be doing work for nothing, and by forgetting something so simple as this, I could be wasting a lot of hours of work. So, in a better ideal situation, I would have two stands under this hood. I'd have one on the edge right here, and one on the other edge right there. And that would put all the weight on the outside edge where it's nice and strong. And that wouldn't lift up. I mean, and you got these ridges right here. It's not going to affect if the weight's being bared on the outside support. What you don't want is any weight bearing on the supports in the middle. And that's the reason for planking. If you're wondering why I haven't been making any videos, it's because we are expecting a baby. Her name is Eliza Isabel Sanchez, and we've been preparing for her, and her room looks pretty cute right now. She's got everything I didn't have as a child. But that's one of the wonderful things about raising a child. You go through all the trials and tribulations, and then you give it your best effort and providing everything that you didn't have yourself. And you also teach her through your own mistakes, and you basically want to teach her to be a better person than you are. That's how I look at it anyways. Yeah, so the wallpaper matches the blanket, and her crib set. That crib is expensive. That's like a $500 crib, little brat. The dresser, I got it off of Craigslist. It was used, and I actually sanded the whole dresser and sprayed it with my own spray gun. Yeah, clear gun. It was a stain and sealer in one, and it turned out pretty decently, I guess, even though I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, so I'm having a baby, and that stroller's pretty badass. It's pretty expensive. It's a jogger, and it's real light. A lot of emphasis on a light stroller that was sturdy, and that's a good one. Pretty excited about that. And this blanket right here is homemade. My wife got at a baby shower, if you can believe that. I mean, that's some pretty serious stuff right there. Very talented girl who did this for my wife. And where is the other thing she made? She made that diaper bag right there. That's homemade too. It's pretty awesome. And it all matches. You know, I got plenty of diapers and dolls and everything, and I thought these are cute too. These little baby Uggs. She's gonna be adorable, very adorable. And then, you know, you got your outfits, obviously. Yeah. So she's gonna be a cutie, and that's the reason why I haven't been doing any work, because my wife is pregnant, and I don't want any of the fumes to get into the house, and for my wife that's pregnant to be breathing that stuff. So once the kid is born, hopefully she can go away for a little bit with my wife, and I can get back to the car. Yeah, but I'll probably take some more time off, because I'm gonna enjoy this. So. Hi, welcome to Tool Review. Today I'll be reviewing sandpaper. The two major benefactors in formulating my opinion on sandpaper is price and quality. So let's get to it. First off, Norton Blue Mag body frost sheets. Supposedly 3M makes the best sandpaper all around. From body file sheets to DA paper to wet sandpaper, the best. They're also the priciest. In my opinion, they don't make the best body file sheets. Norton does. And they're blue. Blue mag, blue, go figure. I find myself cleaning off clogged up pieces of filler 4 to 5 times with a metal wire brush before there's even any signs of wear on the sandpaper. This stuff is simply indestructible, and it's the best by far. Better performance-wise and price-wise than 3M. So, Norton Blue Mag body file sheets. They come in 40 to 80 grit. Try them out. They're the best. Also, by Norton, is the Blue Mag 8-inch mud hog paper. And no, this isn't a pizza box. Also in blue. Surprise, surprise. They also come in 40 to 80 grit. And just like with the longboard paper, they last longer and they're cheaper than 3M. The 3M longboard and mud hog paper comes in green. These come in blue. They last a lot longer. I know because we use them at work. I'd take these over 3M any day. Not just because of the price. Also by Norton, Norton Black Ice Wet Sandpaper. When it comes to wet sandpaper, there's a huge difference between the best sandpaper and the worst. You don't want to be caught with the worst sandpaper because you're wet sanding. You don't want your hands to look like a 120-year-old man, all wrinkled up and stuff. This sandpaper is almost as good as 3M. 3M is probably the best, and nothing compares to 3M other than Norton. Nothing compares to Norton other than 3M when it comes to wet sandpaper. The good thing about Norton though is it's a lot cheaper than 3M. So anytime I'm wet sanding with anything from 400 to 600, it'll most likely be with Norton Black Ice. I love this stuff. It's great. Also by Norton is Norton Vertex Maroon Scuff Pads. Not as good as 3M, but they're a lot cheaper. It's only $19.99 for 20 pieces. Now, if I was using the gray scuff pads, I think I would stick with 3M because they're much finer grit, and if you use Norton, it'd probably wear out too quickly, and you'll be scuffing your substrate with what can be considered a sweater or a piece of fabric at that point. So when it comes to maroon, I like Norton. When it comes to gray, I like 3M. Call me picky. And that's it for Norton. Next up, 3M. Yes, I'm done bashing them. 3M. I like 3M block paper anywhere from 180 to 320. And I like them because you'd figure that the 3M technology is probably a lot better than the biggest company out there that makes sandpaper. So you figure their finer grits are going to last longer because it's probably harder to make a good sandpaper with finer grits. That's why their wet sandpaper, their clear coat sandpaper from 1200 to 2500 is a lot better than anything else. So I like their 180 to 320. I really like their low-end brand, which is the red brand. Looks like this. This roll right here is $39.99. And their top of the line stuff is your 3M Gold. So this is $69.99. And it's a lot more expensive, but it's a lot better. So that's 3M for you. And I do recommend you use 3M or Norton when you're wet sanding your clear. I don't have any of that paper with me right now, but that would be anywhere from like 800 to 2500 or 3000. Norton and 3M are pretty good. I like 3M better because it's such a fine grit that you don't want to skimp out on price on that. Your paper will wear out too quickly. So I do buy 3M when it comes to wet sand and clear, those grits anyways. Last but not least, and don't laugh at me right now, is Indesa Red Line Rhino. I know, they're not the best. But you know what? For the price, they're pretty hard to beat. For instance, this is the 80 grit roll of block paper, and this thing costs $19.99. Not nearly my favorite. My favorite would be the Norton Gold roll, but you get half as much as this, and it costs almost twice as much. $39.99. It's pretty much twice as much, and you get half as less. So I have to ask myself, is this stuff half as good as Norton? No, it's not. It's not the greatest brand, but it's not half as good. So I'll take this over any brand. Not the best, but it's very cheap and lasts forever, you know. One thing I don't like about when doing big projects and I get a good brand that I like of 80-inch block paper is that I run out of it and it costs too much, you know. So if I get this Rhino stuff for $19.99, I'll be swapping out more paper, but I'll end up having more paper in the end and end up spending less. So it's a win-win situation if you ask me. And this is the 180. I also like this stuff in Indesa, but I also like 3M too. But this is cheaper, obviously. I also like their DA paper anywhere from 80 to 400. I don't go over 400. I don't even rarely go to 400. I usually with DA paper go to 320, and then I start wet sanding with 400 to 600. When it comes to DA paper for clear coats, like your 1000 to 3000, I wouldn't even think of using this stuff because it'll wear out too quickly. It's not a big company that could formulate that type of grit very well. So when it comes to like 1000 to 3000 on a DA, you'll see me with like 3M or something. But the stuff's not bad, and it's very cheap. Very cheap, and it's red. So it's Red Line Indesa Rhino. Not bad for the price. I also have a couple other things that I'd like to review today. One of them is this North Safety Mask Model 7700. What I like about this mask is the soft rubber silicone that conforms nicely to your face and is nice and comfortable, and it doesn't leak air. Also, I like the fact that the strap lasts a long time. This mask is 6 months old and it fits just as good and feels just as comfortable as it did when I first bought it. With your 3M masks, the rubber isn't as soft, it tends to crack, and it doesn't fit into your face as well, and you get air leaking right by your nostrils because of the fit. Also, with the 3M masks, the straps tend to wear out very quickly, and you also have a tendency to have straps that wear out unevenly. So for instance, this strap might wear out more than this strap, so then you'll pull this strap tighter, and in doing that, pulls this part right here that goes over the back of your head off to the side, and that has a chain reaction which cocks the mask to the side, and all this leads to discomfort and a bad fit overall. I guess it's not a problem if you keep your mask for only 1 month, but I like to keep my mask a little longer than that. This mask is 6 months old and it's still just as good as it was when I first got it. The filters you want to get for this are P100 pancake filters. I think P100 blocks out 99.5% of all particulates, I think. You could also get these adapters. This is something you can't do with 3M. You screw it into the adapter like this, and then you get your charcoal organic vapor filter and screw it in, and then pop it on top like that, and then you could spray with these filters. But I only use these for sanding. They're really good masks and they last a long time. So good that I went ahead and bought a 3-year supply of filters. So it goes to show you my dedication to North Safety Masks. Next up, the stick seam buster. These spot weld busters get all the acclaim and notoriety for being the best spot weld busters out on the market. I'm not so sure about that, but I do like them because they're nice and thin. You can get into hard to reach areas and you can hammer it from the side, and it's hardened steel. But what I don't like about it, when you're trying to open up two panels and they're really tight together, you can't really do that because both sides are beveled, whereas a chisel has only one beveled side. And I find that with a chisel you could get into those areas better. So when I'm using one of these, I'll usually have a little chisel right there to open up hard to reach areas, and then I'll throw this in there. But these are pretty good. I don't know if they're the best, but they're good, and I can't argue for 20 bucks. So that's the stick seam buster. I just reviewed that because I don't want you to think they're the best because they're being toted around as the best. I don't think that's the case. Next, we have the Chicago Pneumatic 7200 3-inch DA. This is a very good DA. It also comes with a 2-inch backing pad. A lot of guys that I know and trust, they'll have one of these in their toolbox because they don't want to pay $300 for a dyno braid palm sander DA. I know a 3-inch palm sander will feel a lot better in your hands, but you don't use these often, and when you do use them, you don't need perfection. Not that you can't get perfection with this, but you don't need it, so it doesn't matter. And it also feels good in your hand as well. There's a regulator in the back so you can control the airflow. Although this one's brand new, I've used this before and I really like this tool and I'm glad I got it. These are great for radiator supports, rear body panels, trunk drop-off panels, prepping the rear beds, anywhere jams, anywhere where space is limited. 3-inch DAs are great. I mean, I'll have this and it'll probably sit in my box for a couple months, but I'll never wonder why I have it, because when you don't have one and the occasion arises, you'll be kicking yourself going, damn it, I wish I had that 3-inch DA. Anyways, this DA is pretty good. It's $100. It's a lot less than the next best thing, but this is great.